It's time to take a tour through some of the most unusual houses in the world, because today we're taking a look at the top 15 coolest interior designs. Number 15. Reversible Destiny Lofts, Tokyo, Japan. Built in 2005 in Tokyo, Japan, the Reversible Destiny Lofts are a multi-residential architectural artwork by Arakawa and Madeline Gins. Created in honor of Helen Keller, the complex is made up of 9 residences, each of which is formed from cubes, spheres, and tubes that are stacked on top of one another. The exterior color scheme immediately shows the vibe the creators were going for, and things only become cooler once you go inside. Each apartment has a circular room in the center with a kitchen. There are 3 to 4 further shapes depending on the unit's size. Unusually, the floor is uneven, so there's a series of vertical poles to make it easier to move around. And with the vivid colors and strange decor, the idea is that people that live there are given the possibility to discover the full potential of the body and experience challenging environments. While they may not be the most relaxing of places to live, the overall concept of reversible destiny as a way to change the inevitable future has appealed to so many people that the lofts have been permanently lived in ever since they were finished. Number 14. Dragon Rock, Garrison, New York. Around an hour's drive to the north of New York City, you'll find Garrison, and this is where American industrial designer Russell Wright decided to build his retreat. Set within 75 acres of prime woodland, the property, which is officially called Manitoga, is seen as so important it was declared as a National Historical Landmark. A house and studio were built on site with the assistance of architect David Levitt. The house itself is known as Dragon Rock, and Wright wanted it to be an exaggerated demonstration of how individual a house can be. The house features large windows to grant views over a waterfall, the quarry pool, and surrounding landscape in a way that makes the interior feel unbelievably spacious. And nature also forms an important part within it too. There's a huge smooth cedar tree that's an interior design element. A structural support and boulders, plantings, and stone terraces are used to bring the outdoors inside for a seamless effect. Wright also used the sheets of translucent plastic to add extra color and interest within the rooms, and even embedded pine needles within the plaster of the walls to really bring residences close to nature. Number 13. House of Sarcasm, Portland, Oregon. The aptly named House of Sarcasm in Portland, Oregon may look fairly uninteresting from the outside, but things couldn't be more different once you step inside. It's the home of artist Christine Claringbold and her husband, and they're a couple that certainly aren't afraid of the use of color. She said in an interview that she liked to use paint as a living entity, and she spent 20 years bringing this to life inside her house. From the psychedelic murals to painted vinyl records, guitars, suitcases, and cups, there's a bold vision in every room. Each area has a distinctly unique color palette, with strong shades, swirling patterns, and busy decorations in any direction you look. For most people who want their homes to be relaxing and peaceful, interior design like this would probably be way too much, but there's no denying that what the Claringbolds have created is a seriously cool interior, even if the majority of visitors can't stay there for too long. If it's up your street though, the good news is that the couple hires out their rooms to guests who want to experience the House of Sarcasm for themselves, and she'll even give you tips to help you design a mural for your own home too. Number 12. Dawn Ridge. Tony Duquette was an American artist who is best known for his work on creating scenes for stage and on the big screen. But one of his greatest projects was Dawn Ridge, an incredible house that he and his wife built in 1949, and it's often said to be America's most photographed home. Located in Beverly Hills, it was originally just a small box house that they continue adding structures to. It's on a half-acre plot of land, and while very little can be seen from the outside, the true beauty of the house is what lies within. There is, for example, a completely enclosed indoor terrace with a mirrored ceiling, a huge gold-plated antique lobster, 2 Venetian dolphin sculptures from the 1700s, carvings that were sourced from all around the world, red-lacquered Queen Anne chairs, a stunning abalone and amethyst crystal chandelier, and plenty more. By the time they had finished, Dawn Ridge had 3 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, and plenty of entertainment space over 2,700 square feet. And it's perhaps no surprise that the rooms have been used on countless occasions as the backdrops for photo shoots for major magazines, and as the set in a number of movies. Number 11. Casadel Anelado, Granada, Spain. The Spanish coastline along the Mediterranean is full of luxurious and opulent homes, but the one that stands out the most is the Casadel Anelado. translating to mean house on a cliff. It is, unsurprisingly, built into a cliff face and has unusual zoomorphic features of the exterior that have divided opinion ever since it was completed. Built for a young family, it's not just the outside that looks impressive, because a similar amount of thought and care went into designing the living spaces to be practical but also feel modern. Inside there are 2 floors, but the main level is multi-tiered, with a kitchen and spacious living room that opens out onto a cantilevered balcony and the swimming pool. The scales used on the exterior were chosen because of the way they reflect the sun, and these beams enter through the windows and bathe the rooms in natural light. The 3 clean and crisp bedrooms on the 2nd floor can actually be combined if needed because of a movable wall, and each one also has its own balcony. It's a contemporary look both outside and in, and the way that it was built into the cliffside like this adds a hidden benefit. Similar to a cave, the internal temperature is maintained throughout the year at a comfortable level, no matter the weather conditions outside. Number 10. Chateau 5, Colorado. If environmental impact isn't the top of your list when choosing a home, then you could go the complete opposite direction and design something that's all about comfort, enjoyment, and the overall experience. Chateau 5 in Evergreen, Colorado was completed in 2015, and despite being designed in a way that's intended to look like its centuries-old castle, it's underpinned by the latest technology to create one of the most futuristic interiors you could imagine. At a cost of $17.5 million, it has 126 chandeliers, a great room with 25-foot-high ceilings, 4 large fireplaces, a wine cellar, a library, bubble balconies, and a simply incredible view out across the nearby Mount Evans. There's also a dog spa, a movie theater, an indoor and outdoor swimming pool, and a huge amount of indoor space that's yet to be developed. Also known as the Maximum Security Mansion, however, the residents of Chateau 5 have managed to be very private and secluded from the outside world. The dedicated security office is used to monitor cameras from all over the property, and they're even alerted if vehicles are approaching along the public highway, with systems in every room that scan anyone that enters and changes the environment to their preference, and a personal assistant that can be used to communicate with the kitchen, the security office, or other guests in the home. Chateau 5 may look like a classic building from the outside, but it's undoubtedly one of the smartest homes you'll find anywhere in the world. Number 9. High Desert House, Joshua Tree National Park, California. The Joshua Tree National Park in California feels like an alien landscape at the best of times, and it seems fitting that it was the location chosen for a truly unique home designed by renowned architect Kendrick Bangs Kellogg. After receiving a handwritten note from a couple who wanted a striking design for a 10-acre plot of land they had purchased, the result was the organic yet modern High Desert House. It took 5 years to complete the main structure of the building, with columns embedded 7 feet into the bedrock, poured concrete to give the curved foundations, and 26 freestanding concrete columns that look like the skeleton of an ancient creature. Famed artist John Vugrin was then brought on board to design the interior, a project that took 14 years to finish, with bespoke furniture and decorations throughout, which truly makes it an astonishing space. Finally, completed in 2014, the High Desert House was described by the New York Times as being the most unsung great residence in America by one of architecture's least known major talents. And it's undoubtedly one of the coolest homes to see, let alone live in not just the US, but the whole world. Number 8. Elephant Art House, Cornville, Arizona. Set within 7 acres of land in Cornville, Arizona, the Elefante Art House was conceived and built by Michael Kahn and Leda Levant over 28 years from 1979. Containing features that you'd expect from most homes, such as central heating, electricity, and running water, that's virtually where any similarities end, as the handmade home is intended to be a living art piece. There are 5 distinct areas, each of which are connected by a common theme, including the meditation area, the art gallery, the bath, the garden sculptures, and the wetland ponds. Most of the materials used to build and decorate the house were sourced locally from the desert, and when combined with stone, glass mosaics, tiles, wood, metal, and plaster, it creates one of the coolest home interiors ever made. The couple didn't have an overall plan for building when they started, and instead followed an organic building process where they made the necessary decisions only at the last moment during construction. Since the creation of the first and main house, a number of other artists have also moved to the site and built structures of their own, and now Elefante is the name given to the entire sculptural village, which, because of the unusual communities that develop there, attracts visitors from all over the country. Number 7. Casa de Vidro, Brazil. Lina Bobardi was an extremely important and influential Brazilian architect who was responsible for designing some of the country's most experimental and expressive buildings. But it wasn't just large-scale projects she applied her talents to, because she also built her own house. Situated on the outskirts of São Paulo, the Casa de Vidro is an astonishing living space that's surrounded by huge windows, and it's raised on stilts to overcome the sloping ground. On the lower floor, there's further bedrooms and staff rooms, and rainforest trees were planted around the site that now have fully established themselves. It's definitely an impressive building from the outside, but Lina Bobardi was also a keen interior designer and furniture collector, and this allowed her to decorate the home with a wonderful mix of high and low culture. There are examples of arts and crafts from artisans around the world, and most people found the interior far more interesting than the exterior, even though she was such a renowned architect. Since her death, the house has been kept true to her vision, and it's now occasionally opened up as a museum where artists are able to display their works in these incredible surroundings. Number 6. Sun Valley Starship, Idaho, United States. Mainly built between 2006 and 2009, but only fully completed in the past few years, the Sun Valley Starship is one of the most unique and unusual houses you'll ever see. The $6 million property is on a huge plot of land in Bellevue, Idaho, and from the outside it almost looks like a welcoming, strange-shaped cottage made from concrete, steel, glass, and reclaimed wood, but with a striking man-made pond and a wonderful rustic outdoor space. Things are no less creative inside, where the space is centered around a huge open kitchen with bar seating, and a further circular bar in the upper-level living area that looks down on the floor below through a skylight-styled circular opening. There are 5 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms, heated garages, multiple stairways, and even a concert arena space. A metal elevator cage is used to access each of the 5 levels of the house, including the top floor, where there's an outdoor Olympic-length swimming pool, and virtually all of the materials used in construction were locally sourced and reclaimed. Feeling both traditional and futuristic, the home certainly earns its name of the Sun Valley Starship, and it's no wonder the real estate market was excited in 2019 when it was last put up for sale. Number 5. The Seashell House, Mexico City, Mexico. Built in 2006 and designed by Mexican architect Javier Sanosian, the Nautilus House, which is often referred to simply as the Seashell House, is one of the coolest and most spectacular homes you'll find in Mexico City. It was created for a young family with 2 children who had become bored with their conventional house and wanted instead to live in one that was more connected with nature. With clear influences from Gaudi and Frank Lloyd Wright, the Nautilus House has smooth surfaces in every direction, stunning spiral staircases, clever paintings, and the use of colored glass to bring life to the interior as the sunlight beams in. Almost feeling as if you're living inside a snail, the entrance is cut into a wall of stained glass, but not all of the building's surprises are so easy to see. Rather than being constructed in the normal way, it's instead made with ferro-cement, which essentially means the structure has a core of steel-reinforced chicken wire that's been coated with 2-inch thick composite cement. Not only does this mean that it hardly needs any maintenance, but it's such a solid design that the house is classified as being earthquake-resistant. Each room has its own personality and design aesthetic, from the more pared-back bedroom for the parents to the bold and bright children's rooms, which all makes for the ideal family home that's certainly unlike anything else. Number 4. Villa Les Cedres, Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat, France. Once someone has invested in a hugely expensive property, it's highly unlikely that it'll actually be available for sale for a long time. And currently, the most expensive home that's on the market to purchase is called Villa Les Cedres, and it's a stunning 187-year-old mansion in the French town of Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat. The 18,000 square foot property is available for a cool $450 million, but this isn't simply a place that's special for its facilities, but also its rich history. Set on 35 acres of land, it has 14 bedrooms, a huge ballroom, an amazing Olympic-sized swimming pool, and every room inside is decorated in a classic way with chandeliers, French doors, and huge 19th century portraits. At the core, this house is exactly what you'd imagine of a traditional French palace, and is spectacular in every direction you look. Originally built in 1830 by the local mayor, it was sold to the King of Belgium in 1904. It's now owned by an Italian drinks company that uses it to host events and as an investment. But it is hoped that it will soon sell again to a family that'll make it their home, a very rich family. Number 3. Sky Garage, Singapore. If you've ever been to Singapore, you'll be more than aware of how busy and crowded the city can feel, which often presents problems to anyone who lives near the center. Traffic can be particularly bad, and it's rare that you'll ever find a space to park your car. So a new residential tower has shown that this can be overcome with unique design concepts. Known as Hamilton Scots, the 56-unit block is just a short walk from the famous Orchard Road district and faces towards a plot of parkland in the city. Each of the apartments has 2 parking spaces of their own, but rather than being in an underground parking garage, these are actually located next to the apartments themselves. All owners have to do is drive into the entrance and park their car on the rotating platform on the special elevator. They then key in their apartment number like you would on any other elevator, and the machinery does the rest. The driver and their car is then lifted up and turned around before being placed in their sky garage, which leads directly into their apartment. Not only does it mean you have quick and easy access to your car, but it also enables you to place it on display in your home. And if you're able to afford one of these in the first place, the chances are you'll also have a vehicle that's worth showing off. And this is surely the best backdrop of any apartment and garage in the world. Number 2. Casa Neverlandia, Austin, Texas. James Talbot had grown up in a military family, and when he was finally able to choose a career, he went to study architecture. But this led him to an incredible journey, from living in tree houses in Honduras to running a playscape design company. But eventually he decided to settle down and build a house that represented his life experiences. This is how Casa Neverlandia became a reality in Austin, Texas. At 3 stories tall, it's covered in colorful mosaics and surrounded by workshops and a treehouse. But going inside is like being transported into a different world. There's an absolutely beautiful Rumford fireplace, a music room clad in vinyl records, an Indonesian-inspired ping-pong room, and even a tech-free intercom system in the walls that's made from PVC piping and called the Whispermophone. Casa Neverlandia is truly the summation of a life of passion and one man's attempt to encapsulate all the wonders that he's seen in the world into his own home. And Talbot wants to share as much of this as possible with anyone that's interested. He gives guided tours and talks and hopes to inspire others to pursue a life of creativity too. Number 1. Pellebourg, France. The peculiar-looking Pellebourg, which is found in the town of Theil-sur-Mer near Cannes in France, was first built in the 1970s for Pierre Bernard, a French industrialist. The architect behind it hated straight lines and once called them an aggression against nature, and this resulted in a design where virtually every edge is curved in some way. The 140,000 square foot house has 10 bedrooms that each have been designed by a world-renowned artist, 11 bathrooms, a number of swimming pools and waterfalls in the grounds, a series of huge entertainment rooms, and most impressively, a 500-seat open-air amphitheater. This place was completely renovated over 5 years from 2011 after being purchased by Pierre Cardin, and once this was finished, the property was listed for $390 million, making it one of the most expensive homes in the world. Of course, for this price, you would get something truly unique, and the interior simply has to be seen to be believed. Cardin, of course, was friends with some of the most creative people on the planet because of his work as a fashion designer, and he was able to acquire vast treasures to adorn the home. There are works on the walls by artists like Patrice Breteau, Daniel Yeo, and Francois Chauvin, and countless sculptures and trinkets and pieces that were made to order. Walking through the house is like exploring one of the most exclusive avant-garde museums in the world, and it's no surprise that efforts are underway to protect it, so it'll always stand as a monument to Cardin. Watch our binge-watching playlist if you'd like to watch all of our most popular top 15 videos. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and get ready to binge. The Top 5 show has launched channel memberships. Thank you to our channel members.